Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of The Hard Choice, Simple Steps for Showing Up. My name is Brad Draper. I am your host, and I am stoked. I am stoked for this episode. So traditionally, I record these episodes far in advance, many weeks in advance, and I throw them in the queue and they come out 2 months later or so, maybe a month and a half later. However, this one is of the utmost importance and it comes on at the beginning of the queue. So it's important and you need to listen up. But before we jump into that, I want to place this idea in your mind. Those things that you're putting off, those things that you want and say, I'll do it tomorrow. Or things you don't want to do but must do, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll play with my kids tomorrow. I don't have time today. I will be with my wife tomorrow. I don't have time today. I'll do that later. Who told you that was going to happen? Think about that. Who told you you're going to have later? When were you given this knowledge that you would be here tomorrow? That's making the assumption that you will actually be here. You may or may not. I don't know the statistic on how many people won't wake up tomorrow morning. It's a lot. It's a lot more than you realize. Have gratitude, one, that you're still here, still breathing. When you wake up tomorrow and your eyes open, have gratitude that you're waking up. Have gratitude that you can still play with your kids and spend time with your wife. And you best get on doing that now. Instead of saying, I need to work right now and I will be with them later. They won't be this age later. My son will never be 4 ever again. That won't happen. My other son will never be 2. His second birthday is here in a couple of weeks. That will only happen once. That will only happen once. Stop putting off the things that you want. Stop waiting for the life that you want and start doing it now, whatever it takes. Yeah, it might be scary because it's the unfamiliar zone. Get out of the familiar zone and start becoming unfamiliar. That's how you expand. There's a famous saying that a mind once expanded is never again to return to its original state. Or something like that. Same concept. You must expand your mind and open to a new state. Never again to return to the old state. As you do this, as you stretch and manipulate your world, realize to this point you've made it through every trial you've ever had. You made it. You're here. Start incurring new trials to overcome, new challenges to overcome, new problems to solve, all things that make you better. Do them on purpose and expedite that learning process. Instead of sitting around waiting for it to come, which will probably cause anxiety, just get it done and move forward in life. So this episode is coming out. We have a couple weeks left in December. What are you doing in life to build momentum? You have this massive opportunity, right? We're in separation season 2.0. You got separation season every Friday, and then December, the ultimate separation season, when most of humanity pumps the brakes and cools the jets because they're spending time with family. Yes, spend time with your family, but don't let off the gas. In fact, give it more. Shift down, raise the RPMs, build boost. Make it happen. For me, I'm doing what is called Suckfest. I have spoken about this 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago. I went to a dinner, and I have spoken about this dinner several times. It was a $1,000 dinner. We were tipping $1,000 to eat some pretty awesome tacos. And the person I sat next to, his name is Bedros Keuilian. We were the two bachelors in the whole group, so we sat by each other and hung out for a couple of hours. If you don't know who Bedros Keuilian is, go look him up. He's a pretty awesome stud. And while we were sitting there, he said, Brad, can I give you a bit of advice? Abso-freaking-lutely. Yes, you can. He said, every December I do something pretty radical, pretty wild. So that's cool. What do you do? He said, well, last year I started walking when the sun went down at sunset. And I live in Chino Hills, a lot of hills there. And I didn't stop walking until sunrise. We cleared a little over 30 miles. So you walked through the night and you didn't sleep and you walked 30 miles. What did that do for you, Bedros? He said that built an unleveling amount of momentum beyond expectation. When you do something that most of humanity would not ever consider and would most likely laugh at, saying you're stupid. When you do that, the amount of momentum you build is unmatched. And then you roll into January with all these goals you have already started or will be starting or what have you. You got a lot of fire behind you. There's a lot of firepower. Well, I did Suckfest with Bedros last year in Chino Hills, and it was amazing. And I told him I will do this every year. At some point in December, I will start walking when the sun goes down. And I won't stop until the sun comes up. To build the momentum, to build the life that I want. What is your Suckfest? What are you doing to build momentum? Now, I'm not saying that you have to go walk all night. That may not be fit for you. Maybe you're working on your nutrition habits and you do more. You don't just follow a diet, but you go do a nutrition analysis or an allergy analysis to find out what is most optimal for your body. What about a sleep analysis? Maybe you're working on your sleep. Do more. Don't just try and get 8 hours. Start getting metrics. Maybe get an Aura ring. This is not a promotion for Aura. They're not paying me, but I do have one. I've had it for 2 years. Maybe a smartwatch, something that tracks your heart rate so you can kind of see where your light sleeping is and your REM sleeping is and everything else. Maybe you have a goal of reading more books. We'll go buy them. Go pick them out and get them all. And place a priority order on which one you're going to read and when you're going to read them. Do more. That's what I'm saying. This does not have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be hard. It can be easy and effortless. You just simply have to do it. Whatever your goals are, move forward. Do more. What are you doing to get the life you want? Because sitting there and waiting for the cake to bake means you're just sitting there and waiting. It's time to be proactive. Whatever that means for you. Have more meetings. Meet more people. Go to more events. Spend more time with your family. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need to sit down and schedule a weekend trip with your kids. Because when was the last time you did that? You need to look at where you are, where you want to go, and then reverse engineer that. And then collapse that time. I had a conversation with a friend today that she really wants to start a podcast. It's a bucket list item. You guys, it is not difficult to do a podcast. You literally talk into an audio recorder of some sort, and then you throw it on the internets. But for her, big deal. And that's awesome. Very noble goal. And she didn't have a date. And somebody challenged her to a date. And she threw the date out to January 21st, 2024. Greater than a month away. It's actually almost a month and a half away. As of the time of this recording, today is let's see what today is. The 15th of December is the day I'm recording this. So that's a month and 6 days. And I was talking to her and I said, how about you expedite that and we launch next week? I will help you. And we worked through the nerves and the anxiety, and she all of a sudden became excited. It became real. This wasn't just some mythical unicorn that she wanted to chase one day, but it became real. And she said, I'm getting really kind of nervous. I'm getting kind of anxious. I said, anxiousness, nervousness, and excitement all have the same physiological response. Are you sure you're interpreting this response correctly? And she said, I don't know. When you have this anxiousness and nervousness of your goals, are you sure you're interpreting the physiological response correctly? Your goals should be grandiose. They should be massive. So much so that you can't just work a little harder to achieve them. You must unlock doors. You must unlock relationships. And you sure as all get out can't do it alone. Another conversation with a different person, we were talking about marketing. And I gave her some pointers. And she said, man, I gotta go learn how to do that. And I cut her off immediately. I said, you do not need to learn how to do anything. You need to find the right team to do it for you. It'll take you too long and too much money to learn how to do that to the efficacy, the effectiveness of a well-oiled machine team. Pay them the super small dollar amount and they'll do it for you. Super small when you compare time and investment cost to you learning it yourself. And then how many mistakes you're going to make figuring it out along the way. This marketing company, say they're $3,500 a month. What if that company brought you in $100,000 a month? Then what is that $3,500? It went from being a lot of money to some people to very, very, very little. And very worth your while that you would do a bajillion times over. So, what is the guarantee? You see, we look at things and say, what is the price? That's kind of a negative connotation. It's an unresourceful connotation. What's the price? How much is it going to cost me? Cost assumes money goes out and doesn't come back. So, you've done this. You've upped the verbiage, right? You've gone to, what's the investment? As if that's a more powerful word, more powerful emotion. And it is. But I don't know about you, but I've had plenty of investments lose. In fact, I've had way more investments lose than investments win by like a large multiple. I've learned quite a bit. But that's what got me to here. That's who made me who I am, and I'm grateful for them. So, what's a better word? What about a guarantee? Guarantee something because you hold all the chips. You hold the keys. You are the only one holding you back. There's always a way to get something done. It always works out. I was at an event last night, and a good friend of mine, brother of mine, he said something that's pretty impactful. He says, it always works out. Give it some time. It might take a second, but it always works out. And you are the proof of that. Look in your life and look back. It's always worked out. And it always will work out. Keep pushing, keep driving. Pedal on the right. Keep it down. Pedal to the metal. It is the end of 2023. and 2024 is about to be upon us. What are you doing to make 2024 the most wild and ferocious life you've ever had? Or are you going to sit back and say, 2024 is going to be my year. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to be more fit. I'm going to be jacked. But you're going to sit on the couch just like you did last night and do absolutely nothing about it. Get up, make a plan, execute that plan, and win, baby. Let's go. It is go time. I am grateful for you. Have this conversation with your friends and your family. Have this conversation with me. Leave me a review on Apple, Spotify, Google, Amazon. Reach out to me. Let's chat. Until next week, like this thing, subscribe to it, download it for future listenings. Until then, I love you guys. Bye.